Hello everybody, this is RJ here. This is Push Airlines. Welcome to the channel. This is the sixth episode of the video series I'm doing on Air Hauler 2, and I'm really excited to fly this flight. If you guys remember previously, I booked a load from Sonoma County going all the way towards Santa Maria, which would take us to South California, somewhere around here, L52. That's the exact airport we wanted to fly. So it was a pretty lengthy flight, but was paying us a little over $11,000. But this load is only 62 nautical miles and pays us $12,290. Two advantages of doing this load. Number one, the reason why I had to let go of the Santa Maria load is simply because I got couldn't fly yesterday and it became too late. So we wouldn't get paid for the load that even if we did it. So I decided to cancel that load. My reputation has gone down a little bit. If you look at it, my reputation is now 23% instead of 23.5, and my overall reputation went down from 21.33% to 21%. I don't want to be really wasting time canceling the load in the future, so I have decided to just do book loads as and when I fly. So for right now, I'm going to be flying from Sonoma County to Sacramento. I just booked this load for 12,000 or 1229 pounds of cargo, which is beef, and we're going to be flying it to Sacramento Executive Airport. It's a smaller airport just located south of Sacramento International Airport. This is the international, and we are going to be flying to here. So pretty much in the city of Sacramento, it's well within the heart of Sacramento, and we are going to be flying some beef there, and looks like a pretty decent load, so I went ahead and booked it. So I hope you guys enjoy this flight. If you guys have any questions, comments, suggestions, requests, please leave a comment in the comment section below. If you guys find this video informative, useful, like it, educational, entertaining, whatever it is, please hit that like button. And also, please do not forget to subscribe to the channel. And I'm going to be doing a lot of these Air Hauler 2 videos. So you know, it adds a whole new level of simulation to or realism to the simulation. You know, it's really cool. I absolutely recommend you guys to go ahead and buy this software. It really adds a lot of challenge and a lot of fun and makes Flight Simulator a little bit more interesting. So anyway, so this is a load we're going to do. So I'm going to go ahead and fly now. Okay, load. Yes, so I still need 304 pounds. So I'm just going to offload some fuel here as much as I can. Oops. I'm just going to offload everything here. So all 1,229 pounds of fuel is in there. I'm going to calculate the fuel a little bit in detail and see how much fuel is required and make sure that the necessary amount of fuel is only added onto the aircraft. So that being said, I'll see you guys in just a minute. I'll go ahead and accept this. And while the flight simulator powers up, I'm going to see you guys in just a minute. Hello everyone, welcome back. So the aircraft, I calculated the fuel and all of that good stuff. The fuel came out to be about 45% on each tank, so we have a little less than half a tank of fuel on each tank. So that's pretty good for our flight today. We are flying only 62 nautical miles, and it is recommended that we always fly, or in fact it is required that we always fly with fuel that is just above this yellow line here on both tanks. When you fly the Bonanza. So today we are going to be doing a night flight as private pilot or soon to be private pilot license holders. We need to build some night time, so we are going to do some night flight today. So today's flight, we're going to fly nonstop from Sonoma County to Sacramento Executive Airport. Let me change the view here for you guys. Sacramento Executive Airport. We are going to be landing on runway 20. And the recommended traffic pattern is a left traffic pattern for runway 20. So what we'll do is we are going to be coming off from the west. So the traffic pattern tells us to fly the airplane to the east of the runway. So what we'll do is we'll cross Sacramento Executive Airport as we approach, and then we'll turn back towards the west. We'll fly east heading, and then continue to fly east even when we see the Sacramento Airport in sight. And then we'll swing back to the west, enter into a 45-degree angle, and enter the downwind for runway 20, and that'll be perfect. So it'll be a left traffic pattern for runway 20, and the runway 20 has a length of 5,503 feet, and that's going to be a lot of challenge to fly that airport, flying this specific flight plan, um, given the fact that we are flying in the night. So it's going to be fun. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. If you guys have any questions, comments, suggestions, requests, please leave a comment in the comment section below. And if you guys like this video, found this informative, useful, please hit that like button. And also, if you guys haven't subscribed to my channel already, please hit that subscribe button as well. That being said, guys, let's jump into the cockpit and get this show going. Alright guys, first thing I want to let you guys know is about the weather conditions. The weather in Sonoma County, given the weather we have, we are expected to depart from runway 14 today. And we have a little bit of a high pressure system as we progress towards Sacramento. So the weather is going to be fairly well. We are not going to face too many bumps except in the mountain areas because of the wind. We are going to face a few bumps, but other than that, really not going to be too much turbulence or anything like that. It's going to be a very, very smooth flight. The winds are expecting 190 at 7 knots, visibility is 10 miles, clear clouds, temperature is 18, dew point is 11, altimeter is 29904. So I'm going to go ahead and tune in the altimeter before I do anything because we already know the altimeter. So 29904. And let me see. And at Sacramento, the winds are at 240 at 12 knots, so we're going to be using runway 20. That's what the wind favors us. 10 miles visibility, clear clouds, temperature 21, dew point 12, altimeter 29089. There, the weather is low pressure, but it's not too bad. So the flight is going to be absolutely smooth and phenomenal, except while we go through the mountains, maybe a bump here and there, but really nothing concerning or anything like that. It'll be a perfect VFR flight today, VFR night flight, I should say. And during the night flight, the VFR requirements are a little bit different. So instead of having 30 minutes of fuel on board, on a regular VFR flight, after landing you should still have 30 minutes of fuel on board, but in the night time now you need to have 45 minutes of fuel on board if you miss the after you land the aircraft. So the airport is in VFR conditions, 10 miles visibility, so I see no reason to perform a missed approach, but you can never say never. So but anyway, that being said, let's not jump into the cockpit, but let's just start this aircraft and flight. The cargo has already been loaded, by the way. I'm going to be using the right tank first today because both the tanks has a little bit less than half a tank, so really it doesn't matter which tank you choose initially. So the parking brakes are set, battery is off, avionics is off, circuit breakers on the left hand side panel is all in, right hand panel is all in as well. Cowl flaps can be kept in the open position, and we can also make sure that the propeller RPM is high, as you can see. And let's go ahead and power up the aircraft. Battery comes on, alternator comes on, navigation lights on, beacon is on, fuel pump comes on, mixture rich. Let's take a look at the fuel flow. Shouldn't exceed 13 gallons per hour. We got 12.5, so mixture cut off, throttle to idle, throttle open 1/4 of an inch. And let's go ahead and turn off the fuel pump. Landing gear lever is down, parking brake is set, okay to start engine. So while I start the engine, I'm also going to increase the mixture. Mixture rich all the way. And now what we can do is we can fine tune the mixture by reducing the mixture till we see a drop in the RPM here. So we have our RPM set at 1100, so I'm going to bring it down to 1000 RPM, and I'm going to cut down my mixture as I'm bringing it down. So there is that drop in the RPM, so I'm going to increase it, so that's where it is. It's pretty good. And we can turn the avionics on. We can also turn the GPSs on here real quick. We are flying a VFR flight, so the squawk code is 1200, and the aircraft has been completely powered up. That's about it. It's just get in and get out kind of deal here. So I'm gonna turn off all of the unnecessary stuff. Marker beacon is muted, so parking brakes released. I'm gonna assume that the clearance for taxi has been given, so taxi lights are on. I'm gonna make a U-turn here, like a 180, and then take it from there. I'm gonna go ahead and get the panel lights on as well, and I can put that here. There we go. We are a little heavy today, so I'm not surprised that we're using a little excess RPM. However, the aircraft is modeled incorrectly, but anyway, we're still using a little bit of excess RPM, given the fact that we are quite heavy today. Also, guys, let me set up the flight plan here as well. So we can take a right turn coming up. I'm gonna go to the run up here. And turn right a little bit. That's a good position to park our aircraft in. That's pretty good. So go ahead and set the parking brake here. Parking brake is set. Mixture is rich. And I'm gonna check the flight controls, so let me get the external view. Left aileron, right aileron, elevator up, elevator down, rudder right, and rudder to the left. Alright, so flight controls are free and correct. So I'm gonna increase the RPM to 1800 RPM. Make sure that the parking brakes are set, but and there we are, 1800 RPM. So now we're gonna check the magnetos, and looking at this here, electronic gauge. So left magneto, we have a drop there of about 35 RPM, both. Right magneto, again about 35%, 35 RPM drop, so both. We're going to cycle the propeller so we can heat up the oil in the governor. And we do that 3 times. Alright guys, so we can bring the throttle down to 1000 RPM again. Should be good. Alright, so the airspeed indicating 0, miniature plane on the attitude indicator is level and erect. Altimeter is set to 8 is 75 feet within field elevation. Vertical speed indicating 0. Directional gyro. Let's set it to the heading of the runway, which is 140. And compass or the turn coordinator, ball at center, miniature plane is level and erect. Suction gauge is in green. We can also do like a voltage check by turning off the alternator here, and you can see the drop in the voltage, and then bring it back so you can see the charge on the alternator. So that being said, guys, we are ready for takeoff at this point in time, so let's go ahead and get going. Parking brakes is released. We have got the clearance for takeoff, so the altitude can come on, and mixture is rich. Cowl flaps is open. Strobe lights can come on, landing light can come on, taxi lights are off, and we are ready for takeoff. So let's do it, guys. And let's remain on this side of the taxiway, because on the right hand side of the taxiway or the center line, simply because we want to utilize runway as much as possible, especially during night. Alright, there we go, you guys. I'm gonna hold it here, and I'm gonna increase the propeller's RPM, or the RPM. In fact, just put full throttle. Our RPM is in the red line, and that is okay as long as you're within the first 6 minutes. So airspeed is alive, suction gauge is in green, CHT, EGTs, everything is in green. Oil temperature, oil pressure in green as well. 70 knots, 75 knots, and liftoff. Positive rate, gear up. And I'm gonna try and maintain 100 knots as much as possible. At 700 feet, I'm going to go ahead and engage the autopilot. About 700 feet, so yaw damper comes on, autopilot is on, heading is on, altitude is on, and we're going to fly up to 1,100 feet now. Okay, level off. Airspeed can increase, but I'm gonna turn left to a heading of 060 or 050. Since we're still in the traffic pattern altitude, we want to be about 140 knots, and then we'll slowly increase. We can bring the pitch RPM to propeller RPM to 2500. And now we can start our turn to the left for our downwind leg onto a heading of 320. And guys, now when we cross midfield of the airport, we are going to start our that's our airport right there. So when we cross the midfield, we'll take a 45-degree angle turn. That's our airport right there. So this road represents the midfield area around. So let's go ahead and start our turn 45 degrees, which would bring us to a heading of 010 degrees. And now we can continue our climb. To 5,500 feet. And we're going to fly this heading for about a minute, and then we're going to start our turn to the right to the required heading. And I'm going to keep my landing lights on, especially during this time, simply because of the terrain, and also you want to just make sure that any inbound traffic coming from the east, it's visible. So it's been a minute now, so I'm going to go ahead and start my turn to the right of a heading, I'd say around 120 for now. Because we want to remain on the left side of this mountain right there. You can see GPS is telling us to maintain a heading of 076, and that'll get us directly to Sacramento, but we always want to make sure you're on the left side of this mountains right there. So that's pretty good. This heading is quite good for a little bit. And now we can turn left to a heading of 076. Remember guys, about 3,000 feet I'm going to reduce the mixture, start leaning the mixture out a little bit to get better performance. At this point I can go ahead and turn off the landing lights as well, since we are high enough. And we are 3,500 feet coming in, so let's go ahead and start reducing the mixture a little bit till we see a gain in the RPM. There is a gain, so let's leave the mixture right there. And continue our climb. And I'm going to check the mixture every 1,000 feet we climb. Alright, we have crossed 1,000 feet over, so the RPM looks good, so let's just continue the climb. We got 400 feet to go. Alright, our airspeed is increasing as we have reached the cruising altitude. And our CHT is good, EGT is good, oil temperature, oil pressure is good, so I'm gonna go ahead and close the cowl flaps. Alright guys, so this is Lake Berissa, and we want to verify that those little islands are on our left hand side as we pass this lake here. As you can see, those two islands are right to our left. That's pretty good. Oil temperature, oil pressure is good, CHT, EGT is good as well, fuel flow is good. Alright you guys, so we've reached the yellow range on tank number 2, so let's just switch tanks to the left tank here. And I'm going to use the left tank for the rest of the flights. This city up ahead of us at 12 o'clock position is called the City of Winters, and you always want to fly towards Winters when you're flying this route, especially. And the next we are looking for is University of Davis. As you can see, this is Highway 505, 505, Interstate 505 coming in. So that's pretty good. Next we are looking for the University of Davis Airport, which is right over here. Or actually, that's not University of Davis, that is some other airport. I forgot what's it called. Yolo, I think it's Yolo County Airport. So we should see University of Davis close by somewhere. This is the city of Davis. I think this looks like an airport. I'm not too sure though, but it should be here somewhere. There is a runway here. That could be it. So this is Highway 113, And this is Interstate 80 right here, so that's good. So the airport should be before the highway 113. So probably the airport is below us. Oh, there it is. There is Davis Airport. Alright, there is Sacramento Executive Airport in sight. So what I will do is I'll proceed to Sacramento Executive Airport. That's where we're going. So I'll fly kind of like south of the airport and land on runway 20. So I'm just gonna fly a little bit to the right to a heading of 085. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and start our descent here. Oops. There we go. (1,100 feet) is the traffic pattern altitude. I'm gonna make sure I fly at around 160 knots so we can just get faster. I'm gonna increase the mixture just a little bit. I'm gonna make sure I don't exceed 165 knots. Our airspeed is coming up to 165, so I'm gonna reduce the RPM to 2100 to see if it maintains 160. (21 inches of mercury). 2500 RPM, that's pretty good. Our airspeed is still seems to be increasing, so I'm gonna go ahead and reduce it to 19 inches of mercury. So we are going to be landing on this runway, lighting this runway here, but we're going to land from the other side. So what I will do is I'll fly out here, come back at a 45-degree angle, downwind, base, final land. And I'll go ahead and turn on my landing lights on as well. And this is the city of, the capital city of California, city of Sacramento. We are not high and nice, so we are not a problem for any of the traffic that may be departing. But we are landing on this side of the runway. So we're going to come around, land here on runway 20. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and reduce my manifold pressure to about 1500 so we can descend a little quicker and reduce our airspeed a little bit too, so we can plan ourselves better. So we're below 3,000 feet. It is safe to put the mixture all the way to rich. I'm gonna go just a little bit more further and start my turn to the left to a heading of 300. Alright, so I'm gonna start my turn to a heading of 300. Actually, 280 is better. This is McCollin Air Force Base, you guys. So we'll fly westbound. Okay, I'm gonna fly a little bit towards the left, disengage the autopilot there. Oops, that was a fast turn, but anyway. I'm gonna try and hold that altitude. There we go, it's a decent heading to fly. There's a reason why I'm doing that as well. I can see I'm kind of at a 45-degree angle to the runway. And now I can enter my downwind leg. Landing gear down. One notch of flaps. Now we're flying parallel to the runway. "90 knots is pretty good. Just make sure you maintain that 1100 feet. Usually look at a 45-degree angle, but it's hard to do that on a simulator, so I'm just gonna extend the downwind a little bit and enter my final or base. Alright you guys, so I'm gonna go ahead and continue with the descent at 85 knots and start my turn to the base. I got myself into a very tight turn, so I'm gonna continue my turn all the way down. As you can see, there's a runway. In fact, I overshot it too, so like I said, guys, just come in high and nice, because that's the best way to perform an approach. So I like to remain high. Our airspeed is a little high, but we still have a lot of time, so plus we got some flaps left, so that's gonna be perfect. Usually I like to maintain around 80 knots on the final approach course. So as you can see, we're nice and aligned to the center line of the runway. 85 knots is our airspeed. We can go down a little bit lower on the airspeed. I can do that by reducing the power. There we go. Little bit of crosswind coming out of our left, that's all. $80 knots on the airspeed. We're still high and nice. You want your approach to be as stable as possible, looking at the 1,000-foot marker.
Minimums.
On the glide slope, which I don't like, but it's okay. I don't like being on the glide slope, especially in a small aircraft like this. Other times, yeah, I like being on the glide slope. It's time to bring down the throttle to about 75 knots.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
I'm gonna keep floating, that's fine, because I want to touch down at the 1,000-foot marker. There's a greaser of a landing, guys. That's it. Just before the 1,000-foot marker was a touchdown, but the landing was extremely soft, very nice, very well executed. So what I will do is I'll continue down the runway a little bit more, and then take this right here at Juliet. I'm gonna taxi straight down the ramp here, straight down this taxiway. Gonna do a couple of things here. We can get the taxi lights on, landing lights can come off, strobes can go off. And continue down the taxiway there. I'm gonna leave the mixture at rich since we're already there at the pretty much the end. The hangar up ahead of us is where we want to go, so I'm gonna go park right in front of the hangar. I'm gonna park it right over here. Alright, everything looks good. Parking brakes on. Taxi light can come off. Strobe lights can come off. Oh, strobe lights were off already, so it doesn't matter. But anyway, mixture cut off. Avionics off. We can open up the cowl flaps here real quick. Beacon, navigation lights off. Avionics is off, so alternator off. Ignition to off, battery off. That's about it, you guys. And so finish flight. Yes. Okay. Oops. Did I unload the cargo? The aircraft is not on the job. Okay. There we go. Oh, good God. New salary 0. Okay. As long as we got paid for the load. There is no cargo loaded on the aircraft container. No. Alright, so close. So now if we go ahead and look at our company information, we should have some money. There we go, 24%, 21.33. So our reputation is going back up. That's what we want. And as far as finance is concerned, we got 294,000 and $12,290 was added into our finance. Now I want to show you guys my logbook here really quickly. 3 hours and 11 minutes of flight, and pretty neat logbook to maintain here. So that's pretty good. So I'm gonna keep this the way it is. I hope you guys enjoyed this flight. I will see you guys in my next video.